I know y'all been waiting on me. Here I am. Here I come. Here I go. I've been waiting all week, the last couple of days to come to y'all. I got something to say. I've been waiting all week, and here I am. I guess it's safe to say that y'all have gotten y'all's food stamps. I've been seeing so many of y'all in the stores, so happy, so jolly, so excited, just literally jumping up and down, bouncing off of the Walmart walls. I've been seeing y'all. Y'all so happy to get your food stamps. Child, y'all better be glad that God and that federal judge caused Donald Trump to fold a little bit. He didn't want to, and he really gonna get his lick back after the new year. I think it's January the 29th. It's when they're supposed to go back into meetings and the government shutdown might resume, allegedly. But anyway, you better get your backs wider while you can. And I would suggest that you stock up and don't sell your food stamps. Those of you that have been selling your food stamps, you better get your deep freezer and stock up while you can instead of selling your food stamps for drugs and wigs and whatever else you've been selling your food stamps for. And let's hold these merchants accountable. Also, I've been hearing that a lot of these merchants have been encouraging and participating in these food stamps selling, allegedly. But anyway, um, I wasn't aware that so many guys were receiving food stamps. Now, this is a whole nother level of emasculation. It's time for these guys to get out and get it how they live. Don't y'all agree? I've never seen so many bitch made men in my life. And that's what it's given, bitch made. It's one thing if you fall on hard times and you can't get back up again, but it's another thing. It's another thing. It's another thing. Touch your neighbor and say, it's another thing. When you just a man that's sorry as F-U-C-K. And that's what a lot of these guys are. Sorry as F-U-C-K. And I think they got that way by their mama. And then these women that they get with, they make it even worse because they don't require them to bring anything to the table but dingaling. I'm glad that I'm not that type of woman. But anyway, you know how not all women are created equal. And that's a whole nother video. But anyway, let's get into our topic. So I've been minding my own business as usual. And I've been going to Walmart, going to Target, going to Kroger's, and just perusing the aisles and trying to make some healthy choices. And I've been noticing all of these heathens just clamoring about and congregating in the aisles and won't get out of my way when they see me coming. And I almost have the urge to just knock them down with my basket and tell them to get out of my way. But I'm not that kind of woman. But if I was that kind of woman, if I was that kind of person, I probably would act out on the urge. But I'm not that kind of woman. I'm a Christian trying to do the right thing and trying to be patient with these heathens. And some would try to say that I need to build tolerance for the heathens. You know, God has called us to be the salt of the earth, not the sugar. And so many people have it twisted like some dreads on a Jamaican's head. And they feel like we ought to just build tolerance for these heathens and not have any standards and let them just do whatever they want and accommodate Satan along the way. I'm not going to be that kind of person. And I think we ought to align our standards and our principles, our moral compass, our values with those of God. We who are believers, we should love what God loves and hate what God hates. That's what I believe. And I'm not willing to waver. And sometimes being a Christian, it does get you in trouble, but I am not willing to compromise, and you should not either. You should stand on business as it relates to the kingdom of God. Now, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I strive to do the right thing and have a right mind and exercise right principles. And in that regard, that leads me to our topic. Let's get into our topic, shall we? Okay, so here comes this heathen woman. You all seen her. I'm pretty sure you did. All over social media, she's gone viral for not necessarily the right thing. And it has made me so mad on the inside because all these heathens, they just wait and for an opportunity to try to discredit God and the church and the pastors, and they always line on the pastor and God and the church, and they always willing to lie in order to get their way and manipulate to get their way and try to rally support from the other heathens and the heathen community because they don't like to do what's right. And that's why a lot of them really don't want to go to church. And that's really why a lot of them have a problem with the church. And that's why they really have a problem with the pastor. And that's really why they have a problem with God. Because they want to do what they want to do instead of what God, thus says the Lord. And they always talking about what the pastor did, what the pastor said, what the church did. But they don't never talk about what the heathens did and what the heathens said. Isn't that interesting? And every time they fall on hard times, they oftentimes do, they always want to run to the same church that they're bashing and beg with that same bashing mouth. Isn't that interesting? It's given hypocrite. It's given, you got a lot of nerve. That's what it's given. And I just can't believe that they don't run to the other heathens when they need something. I just can't believe that they don't say, oh, it must be my karma. Because, they always say it's your karma when it's something bad happened to somebody who they don't like. But I guess they like themselves. So they don't say, oh, it must be my karma that I didn't get my food stamps and I'm not getting a job and I'm dependent on the government. It must be my karma because I didn't keep my legs closed and obey God as it relates to don't fornicate, don't commit adultery, don't lie, don't, what God said, don't. They always talk about what God said, but they never talk about the part where God said, do not fornicate, do not commit adultery, do not lie, do not steal, do not kill. God said a whole lot of things, but they always try to point out the part of what God said and leave the other parts of what God said out of the conversation. Yeah, he said a whole lot of things, but it's interesting how they never talk about what God said as it applies to them and their circumstances. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So here comes this lady. No. Excuse me. It's not a lady. There's a difference between an old woman and a lady. I don't think she's a lady. I wouldn't classify her as a lady. So here comes this old heathen woman straggling along these social media streets. She didn't have nothing else to do but try to criticize the church. And I believe God is going to deal with her accordingly. Yeah. in his own time, in his own way. So here comes this heathen woman straggling along the social media streets and pretending like she's just doing a social experiment. I think she was serious. I really think she was serious, but because she got clowned and embarrassed, she probably changed and said, "Oh, it's just a social media experiment." No, heifer, I think you was for real, for real. And because you got embarrassed and because you probably got clowned, you probably, and probably, she probably got put in her place a time or two by some of these pastors and church people too. She decided to say, "Oh, it's just a social media experiment." I think she's a liar. And why did she call her baby daddy? Why doesn't she have a husband? See, that's the problem. A lot of these, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. See, I just believe that the judgment of God is upon the land. I just believe that God is chastising a lot of people in this hour and he's not done yet. I just believe that God is spinning the block and he's allowing Donald Trump to do his thing with these food stamps and some other things, and calling people to rise up and acknowledge God as the true and living God. And that's where your help come from. You're not self-made. You're not your own God, as a lot of these heathens try to pretend to be. And he's causing them to fall, and perhaps that's the way to humble themselves and seek his face. Otherwise, if they never have any hard times to fall on, they will never acknowledge God and worship God and build a better and closer relationship with God. So perhaps this is God's will. And he's not done with the heathens yet, because they done got so far gone and so far away from God. And they want to do their own thing. And maybe, just maybe, this will humble the heathens. We'll see. We'll see. And a fear of them, they did stop and pray to God and acknowledge God and try to build a better relationship with God and cried out to God because their stomachs was touching their backs. And God said, if you turn from your wicked ways and cry out to him, he'll heal the land. But enough of the people are not crying out and stopping and turning from their wicked ways. They just want to keep on going, just want to keep on going, just want to keep on going. And God sees you, and he knows if you're sincere or not. And you're just making it hard on yourself when you refuse to turn. He wants you to turn, not keep going in wickedness, okay? So this woman, this old raggedy woman, she decided to take it upon herself and call all these churches, about 30 or more of them, I'm hearing, and beg for some baby formula for her baby. Now, mind you, it's her baby. It's not the church's baby. Okay, it's not our baby. It's her baby. Why didn't she call the church before she opened her legs and took that dingling raw? Why didn't she call the church before one thing led to another? Huh? Where is her husband? Where is the baby daddies? Huh? Where is, no, she never did mention the baby daddy. Where is the baby daddy? Huh? That's who she should have been calling instead of calling the church, and before she called the church. Okay? And it's not the church's responsibility to take care of that woman and her baby. And so many heathens was lying on the church. They've been lying on the church. And somebody would say, well, Karma Kaboom, that's nothing new. They've been lying on the church. Yeah, they have been lying on the church. But we're talking about this particular incident, okay? And it was so many heathens just waiting in the cut and listening for somebody to criticize the church. And there they came running to the comment section. I know that's right. The church ain't no good. They always this and they always that. And they blah, 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 blah. And those same heathens that was running to the comment section and wobbling to the comment section to criticize the church and jump on the bandwagon and rally support for the raggedy woman, none of them was saying, oh, I'll send you some baby formula for you and the baby. I'll help you and the baby. Oh, y'all can come over to my house. I'll take care of y'all. None of them was volunteering to help the woman and the baby, but they was trying to help her bash the church because that's what their agenda was all along. But nevertheless, she claims that she called several churches and none of them would help her, particularly Germantown Baptist Church in Memphis. And I heard that the pastor of Germantown Baptist Church clapped back at her during a sermon, and some heathens decided to clap back at the pastor. They don't have no respect for the pastors, but they want to turn around and beg from the pastor. They really want to overthrow the pastor in the church. That's really what they want to do. But I don't think that they're going to be successful. I don't believe that God is going to allow them to go that far. And the more they try to criticize the church and the pastor and God and all of this in the Bible, the worse their calamity gets. And they act like they don't see it. They act like they don't understand. They act like they're slow and retarded. Why would you make your situation worse? I think a word to the wise, to the heathen community, you better keep your mouth off of God and the Bible and the church and the pastor and take your low down heathen tail somewhere and sit down and turn from your wicked ways and obey God. That's what you better do. Okay. Because God, you heathens, you're not going to be satisfied until God turns you every way with but loose. Okay. And that's what you don't want. You don't want God to turn you every which way but loose. You better turn from your wicked ways and stop trying to provoke God. Okay? Because ain't nothing you can do as it relates to trying to overthrow God in the church. Why don't y'all stop trying to overthrow the church? That's what this is all about. That's what this experiment is all about. Okay? They want to take over the church. They want to overthrow the church. Oh, but one place that they didn't call this raggedy woman and these heathens, they didn't call Beyonce. They didn't call Chris Brown. They didn't call Kim Kardashian. They didn't call Cardi B. And all of these other heathens that's got so much money and throwing it all over the floor in the strip club and holding it up to their ear. No. They want to call the church. Why didn't they call these celebrities who they worship and adore and spending all their money with and supporting all of these celebrities and other heathens in the street that claim to be self-made? Why they didn't call them? Now, so many of them, they didn't have a problem spending all this money, even though they probably had to sell their food stamps to get the money for the tickets for Beyonce. I think it was like $1,400, allegedly. They didn't have no problem spending all these thousands of dollars for the Breezy Bowl, Chris Brown's Breezy Bowl. And I think it's a shame now that they had their food stamps cut off. They couldn't even afford a chili bowl. It's given they don't have their priorities in order. That's what it's given. Okay. But anyway, I think it's time to really prioritize, what's really important. And I think this whole situations with the government shutdown and the food stamps getting cut off, It really should make a lot of these people, especially these women with these kids, it should really make you want to close your legs and realize what's important and get your mind and get your life together. Okay, it's not the government's responsibility to take care of you and your kids. And so many of these people that got it twisted, they got it so messed up in their mind, and they have been on government assistance for so long. They really, really believe that it's the government's responsibility and they're obligated to take care of you and your kids, and they are not. And they're showing you every day. Every day they're passing more and more laws, not to help you, but to help themselves. They are not in the business of trying to spend more money and play sugar daddy to these baby mamas and heathens overall. Okay, they are trying to save money. And all these people who are just laying on the government and sucking on the government's titty and using the government as a sugar daddy, y'all better get y'all mind right, because a new day is coming. See, they think, this is what they think. They think they're going to be able to beg other people, rob and steal and scam and kill to get what they're wanting. But if Donald Trump has his way, and he's passing his executive orders every day, and new laws are being executed every day, he's putting all these federal agents all over the streets and the police all over the place, you're not going to be able to get out here and just run roughshod through these streets and hold other people hostage and responsible for your life. Okay, so you got to be more aware of your choices. Okay, this is ridiculous how all of these females are just letting every dude who ain't got nothing to offer her but ding-a-ling lay up and insert his penis and ejaculate raw dog and have 5, 10, 15, 20 children, all by different daddies. And it's like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about? Okay, but anyway, yeah, it's not the church's responsibility to take care of these females and their children. And then they try to shame the church when the church says no. But they don't have a problem saying no. If it was the other way around and the church asked them for some help and the church asked them to pay their tithes and offering, they would have a big problem. And oftentimes they do have a big problem with it. My God. But when was the last time we saw and heard any of these heathens offering to help the church and the pastor? Huh? When was the last time you saw any of them taking boxes and boxes of food and cleaning supplies or whatever the case may be to the church and knocking on the doors and offering to help somebody else? They always got their hands out, expecting some help and donations. Okay, they have this entitlement spirit, and they feel like the church should be just open, just keep their doors open and always giving. And then I heard and seen some of these heathens saying that's what the church supposed to do. That's what the church supposed to do. Last time that I checked, the church is not obligated to do anything as it relates to helping these people, especially if they're not a member and they don't support the church. I don't know where they're getting all this entitlement spirit from, but a lot of them got that entitlement spirit real bad. And it just really pisses me off when I see them all over social media trying to drag the church and the pastor. And they want to hold the pastor accountable, but they don't hold themselves accountable. The same standards that you got for the church and the pastor, you should have for yourself and the heathen community. How often do we see them dragging the heathens who lie, steal, kill, carjack, rape, etc., etc.? Huh? They don't never want to drag them all over social media and hold them accountable and expect something from them. Okay. Why don't they ask the devil for some help? That's the one who they serve. That's the one that they serve. That's the one that they worship. They only want to run to the church when they need some help. But otherwise, they bashing the church. They bashing the pastor. They don't believe in the Bible. They want to question the Bible. They want to question God and claim that they are self-made and they are God. How you gonna run to the church and beg for some help from the church and you don't even want to obey God and respect the church? See, God is a God of order, not a God of confusion. Okay? God is a God of order. You gotta be in order. How you gonna be out of order and run to the church when you get good and ready, when it's convenient for you, when things not going your way, and expect some help from the church? Just like you got these expectations, God got some expectations from you. He expects for you to do right. He expects for you to obey. Okay? Okay. All these expectations is more than a one-way street. Like I said, just like you got some expectations for the church and for God, God got some expectations from you. He has some expectations for you too. Okay. It's crazy how these heathens, they want the church and the pastor and God to do what they want when they want it. But they don't want to do what God wants when God wants it. I just don't understand it. I don't understand the mindset of heathens. I don't understand the mindset, but yeah, here they are running their mouth about the church and trying to drag the church because they can't get their way. Whenever they can't get their way, notice it's always every time they cannot get their way, they want to drag the church and the pastor all over social media. But as long as they're getting their way, they don't say nothing until the next time. And it's always a next time. In the meantime, they want to smoke their dope. They want to get high as they want to get. They want to drink. They want to drug. They want to party. They want to pop out all these ugly ass babies and go from one June bug to the Ray Ray and think it's okay. Okay. And it's just crazy how they have all these high expectations for the church, but they don't have these same high expectations for themselves and each other in the heathen community. Whew. And I am so sick and tired of them trying to criticize the church, but don't criticize themselves and each other. They want to evaluate the church. They want to evaluate the pastor. They want to evaluate Jesus. They want to evaluate God, but they don't want to evaluate themselves and each other. And I'm sick of them, and I need them to go somewhere and sit down and just get themselves right. Okay. I'm sick of them. Isn't it crazy how these same heathens who claim that, not to judge, they always judging. Isn't it something how we don't even hear them say that anymore? They used to wage this campaign, don't judge, you judging me. Can't nobody judge me but God. We slowly have heard them stop saying that. Because we all realize that they're hypocrites. And I guess they're starting to realize that they're hypocrites too. Because they are the main people who judge. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? They judging everybody but themselves. Why don't they judge them penises that go in and out of their mouths and every other hole in their body? And it ain't doing them no good. All this penis that they getting a hold of, it's making them worse instead of better. Mm, mm, mm. And I think it's a shame for these young females to be getting a hold of all this penis and dingaling and whatever else you want to call it. And the dingaling can't even get you no grocery. All this dingaling that's been running in and out of your mouth and in and out of your butt and puss. And it's leaving your belly hungry. You can't eat all of them babies that's coming in and out of that dingaling that you're swallowing. Okay? It's a shame. Ooh, am I the only one that think it's a shame? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it right now. How you gonna have a man in your house and in your mouth and in your butthole and in your pussy hole and he can't get you no grocery? Why would you have a man? Matter of fact, that's not a man. That's not a man if he cannot provide for you. Okay, why would you have a man in your bed and he cannot put nothing in your refrigerator and your cabinets? I just don't understand. Why would you have a man and he can't do nothing for you but give you a wet ass and a wet mouth? I just don't understand. Today's females, most of them, are some stupid heifers. I mean, just stupid. And they stay stuck on stupid. Why would you have a dude who can't give you nothing but dingling? And it's so many. It's so many of these silly females. And they just keep these guys in their house and laying them up in their beds, and they can't do nothing for them. And this recent government shutdown and the closing down of the food stamps, this was a test subject that should be really studied, okay? And it should open a lot of these females' eyes and minds and cause them to reorganize some things and kick a lot of these dudes out because they can't do nothing for you but give you a wet butt. That's it and that's all. And give you a bunch of babies in the back of your throat. That's it. I just thank God that I'm not so stupid. You know, it could have been me. It could have been me with a Ray Ray or a Pookie or a Junebug up in here. But I refuse. I refuse to be that stupid. I refuse. It could have been me with 5, 10, 15 children running up and down up in here. And I have so many people asking me, oh, you ain't got no kids? Why you ain't got no kids? Why you single? You ain't got no man? As if that's a requirement. Just because you are a woman, that doesn't mean. Now, God did say, be fruitful and multiply, but he also required us to have a quality husband. Okay. Have a quality husband and be able to take care of the kids and yourself. Why would you sit up and just have baby after baby after baby just because you can, just because you get a vagina? Huh? Why not establish yourself first? Huh? If you can't feed yourself, you know you can't feed no children. Why? I think that's selfish. Why bring a bunch of babies into the world and you can't even take care of yourself? Oh, my God. Okay, that really makes you look less of a woman when you can't provide for your children, in my opinion. And so many of these females, they claim to not like the government, and they claim Donald Trump is so racist, but yet they depend on the government, yet they depend on that racist, so-called racist. Make it make sense. I don't understand that mentality. I don't understand that logic. I don't understand it. But anyway, the mother is the first teacher of the child. And look at what so many of these mothers of today are teaching their children. I think it's very inappropriate and erroneous to be teaching your child to lay up and just mass reproduce by a loser who can't provide and protect you or the household. And then we have these kids grow up and repeat the same cycle. I think it's a shame that you're teaching your kids to lay up and depend on welfare, lay up and depend on food stamps, lay up and depend on Section 8. And they are showing you, the government, that they are not your sugar daddy. Those days are over. And right now, a lot of these food stamps recipients and Section 8 dependent people, they are looking at their circumstances. And instead of saying, oh, I need to get me some classes going, I need to enroll in somebody's class and take some kind of training sessions to better myself, because all these jobs are being replaced by robots, a lot of them. Maybe I can find a job that won't be replaced by a robot, and I can take care of myself and my children, you know. But they're not even doing that. They just sitting up and thinking, well, I just wait for the government shutdown to be over. I just wait for my food stamps to come back. They always gonna come back. The government always gonna take care of me. And that is delusion and confusion. Oh my God. My God. I just wouldn't let myself be bamboozled. That's bamboozled by the devil. That ain't nothing but being bamboozled by the devil. The devil has so many people confused and in a state of delusion. Okay, why not seize this opportunity and enroll in some classes and make yourself better and put yourself at a better advantage, huh? Instead of depending on food stamps and Section 8. Because the government is showing us they're not going to be reliable. They never was. And the future of food stamps is uncertain. The future of Section 8 is uncertain. And if you haven't noticed, like I have, even old people are having to get out there and work longer. Old people, elderly, they can't even retire like they used to. And I think it's a shame that a lot of these elderly people can't even get any help as it relates to food stamps and Section 8, because you got all these big old overgrown, rusted, dusty 20 and 30 and 40-year-olds that's occupying food stamps and Section 8 and won't get off of them and keep on having baby after baby after baby so they can stay logged into the system. I think the whole system of food stamps and Section 8 needs to be evaluated and audited. And a lot of these able-bodied heathens and hood rats, they need to be kicked off of the programs, because they should not be just able to ride the system of food stamps and Section 8 for years and years and years, one generation after the other. The cycle needs to be broken. Okay, and it's a shame that the old people, the elderly, and a lot of these handicapped people, they can't even get any help, because, like I said, a lot of these able-bodied, rusty, dusty, ashy ankle 20 and 30 and 40-year-olds are in the way. And a lot of them scamming the system and lying on the applications. And the whole system needs to be overhauled. But yeah, I have been going to some of these stores like Walmart and Target and Kroger. Like today, I was in, where was I? What's the name? Dollar Tree. And I thought it was a shame that this old woman, white woman, Not that the race matters, but I'm just saying. Elderly white woman who could barely breathe was standing up there as my cashier and wrinkled from head to toe. I said she needs to be somewhere sitting down enjoying her golden years in a rocking chair, watching the sunset. But yet, because of the circumstances of the economy, she's having to stay longer in the employment sector. Meanwhile, you got Pookie and Ray Ray and Junebug and Keisha and Jaquisha. They don't want a job. They don't appreciate a job. They fumbling the job. Like the other day when I went to Cracker Barrel, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. I was out there waiting on the doors to swing open, thinking I was gonna beat the crowd. I waited 20 minutes. Never did get any help. Never did get anybody to say, "Can I help you, ma'am?" Because I was in the back. I heard them back there in the kitchen gossiping, 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 and ignoring the hell out of me. It's so many people that want a job, would love to have that job opportunity, and here you go, got so many people that's fumbling the job and being messy on the job, plotting on other employees on the job, like the job that I have now, smoking dope on the job. And when people like me, righteous people like me, say something about it, I get punished and retaliated against. I'm gonna talk about that in a future video. Yes, yes, it's so much going on out here as it relates to this employment sector that should not be going on. And you got to have some standards. You got to stand for what's right, and you got to stand on business, because Satan is running roughshod through the employment sector. And because we have few jobs out here that's available, and the robots and the AI is taking over a lot of these jobs. A lot of these people on these jobs are showing out and trying their best to get other people fired and threatening their livelihood. And God is going to deal with them too. But anyway, yeah, yeah, the old people can't even go home and sit down somewhere and rest their old legs because the food is so high, the rent is getting higher every day, and they can't hardly afford their medication. They can't afford nothing, hardly. Can't even hardly afford their food. And the grocery getting higher. And I think it's a shame that Junebug and Keisha and Ray Ray and all of these able-bodied hood rats, they able to eat real good. And the elderly, they gotta be careful about what they buy in the grocery store, because they can't get no help as it relates to food stamps and Section 8 and whatever else. And that shouldn't be going on in America. That should not be going on. But it's a shame that Keisha and Ray Ray and Junebug, they can eat crab legs and lobster and steak and potatoes. And the old people can barely get a bologna sandwich. Barely, barely, barely can get some water. Whew, it's a shame. It's a shame. Elderly people that's done work hard all their life, 70, 80, 90 years old, still got to stand up on a job. And they used to have them as a greeter at Walmart at the door saying, "Welcome to Walmart." But now they got to stand at the counter and be a cash register employee and deal with all them hood rats. And then most of the hood rats, they go in there in groups and steal. You know how they do. They go in there in large groups early in the morning. And then a lot of times it's an inside job because they cousin and sister and auntie work in Walmart, and they tell them to come on in there. I got you. I got you. And God is going to get them too for all that stealing that they doing. They love to steal out of Walmart. I don't know why Walmart is their favorite place to steal. I think they steal out of Target too. And then they've been saying, "Oh, we're going to boycott Target." And I ain't seen them stand on business yet as it relates to boycotting Target. And then they only want to boycott Target because of the DEI. And they didn't even know nothing about the DEI until Donald Trump said something about it. Whew, they didn't even know nothing about the DEI, and the DEI don't even apply to them. They didn't even benefit from the DEI. Dumbasses. But anyway, they say they don't stand on business. They always lying and saying that they gonna boycott this and boycott that. They ain't built for a boycott. Meanwhile, they wide as a boycott. But anyway, child, they not boycotting Target. And I don't care what they say. Me and a whole lot of other people of color, we stay in Target. I love Target. Target ain't never did no wrong to me. And I see so many, like I said, elderly people. They have no working Target. Like the other day, I don't want to lie on the old man, but he was about 70 or 80 years old, a white man. And I got a feeling he did forget to put my 2 Coca-Colas in my bag. But thankfully, the manager said I could come back with my receipt and get my Cokes replaced. So I did that. I got me some vanilla Coke. I've always liked vanilla Coke, even though I'm not supposed to be drinking it. Don't y'all tell my diabetic doctor, okay? Don't snitch on me. And um, I think the old man did. Maybe he did forget to put my Cokes in the bag, but he shouldn't have been working on that job. No way. He shouldn't have been in there. He's too, I shouldn't say too old, but maybe he's voluntarily working in there. Maybe he had the opportunity to retire and he was bored at home. I doubt it. I think he's forced to work beyond his retirement age, because you know they done pushed the retirement up. It was 62, now I think it's 67. And by the time it's time for me to retire, it might be 95 or 75 or something like that. They trying their best not to pay us, well, even though we done paid into the system. Because, child, they've been stealing the money, allegedly, and sending money out to all these other countries. And I think it's a shame. They sending our money to these other countries, but these other countries won't send no money to us. Ooh, the other countries can always get some help from America, but why we can't never get no help from these other countries? Huh? All these other countries want to sit up and just beg and pillage off of America. When can we get some help from these other countries? Huh? Anyway, yeah. So I said all that to say this. The woman, I think she really was want some help with the baby formula, but because she probably got drugged and embarrassed from a lot of people, she decided to switch it up and say, oh, it's just an experiment. It's just a social experiment. She's a social experiment. Lie. You know, a lie don't care who it catch a ride with, and it don't care who tells it either. But yeah, it's given she lying. That's what it's given. It's given that she telling a lie. And she really did want that baby formula. So now we got all these people that's trying to be sarcastic, taking baby formula and put it on the yard of the churches. Some of these churches just randomly taking baby formula and putting it on the church yard. What it's giving meddling. Why they just won't stop meddling with the church? Because the church represents do right, obey, okay, watch what you say. That's why they don't like the church. That's what the problem is with a lot of heathens having with the church. But one place they won't go meddle. Why they don't go to the strip club and meddle? Why they won't go to the nightclub and meddle? Why they won't go down to the bar and meddle? Huh? Why they won't go where the drug dealers and the drug addicted folks hang out and meddle? Why they don't go meddle with the lot lizards and the prostitutes? Huh? Cause that's their kind. Those are their people. That's their community. They don't wanna meddle and upset their people. They want to give them a pass. But they always wanna meddle with the people of God. And they get mad when God decides to meddle with them back. Yeah. But anyway, it is not the church's responsibility to take care of that heifer and her baby. It's her baby, not the church's baby. Okay? And the church is not a sugar daddy center. It is the house of the Lord. And these heathens need to respect the house of the Lord. Okay? And stop coming down just to beg and expect some help from people who you don't even support. No, that pastor, he wasn't supposed to be obligated to help her and that baby. And ain't nowhere in the Bible that say he obligated to help that heifer and her baby. It's not the pastor's baby, it's her baby. Okay? And I don't blame the church for telling her no. Okay? And no, no, no. And standing on business. Okay? Yeah. Huh. She won't help the church, but she wants the church to help her. I'm so sick of these whores. If you keep your legs closed, you wouldn't have to be begging from the church. That part. Okay? I'm sick of y'all want to have all this sex, but you don't want to be responsible and accountable for your own actions and behavior and disobedience. Okay? Okay, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you. And I got a feeling that God is sick of y'all too. Okay? Yeah, keep your legs closed. You wouldn't have to go to the church begging and being disappointed when they turn your tail around and say no. Okay? Okay, like the church ain't supposed to say no. Y'all say no. You need to say no to that dingaling. Okay? You need to say no to the dingaling. Okay, why y'all don't say no to the dingaling? Why don't you say no to the dingaling and the drugs? Huh? You keep on saying yes, yes, yes when you need to be saying no. Okay. Okay. Get mad at that dangling, just like you get mad at the pastor in the church when they don't give you what you want and let you have your way. Get mad at these garbage ass folks that don't mean you no good. Okay, just like you get mad at the church. Get mad at committing sin, just like you get mad at the church and the pastor when they don't let you have your way. And that's what it's all about. The heathens are mad because they can't have their way with the church and the pastor. Okay? And they want to form all these indictments against the pastor. They want to form all these indictments against the church and the Bible and God because they can't have their way. And that's the bottom line. Okay? And I'm sick of them. Lying on the church and the pastor and the Bible and God and Jesus and all of that right there. They need to be lying and holding the devil accountable. That's what they need to be doing. What they'll never lie on him. They don't never lie on the devil. Do y'all notice that? They don't never have an indictment against the devil. They don't never want to tell on the devil. Woo! Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? They don't never want to hold the devil accountable. Never. Never. They don't never have a problem with the devil. No. Because they teammates. They teammates with the devil. And they wouldn't have it no other way. Yeah, they enjoy how the devil make them feel good. Even though that's a false feeling. That's not gonna last. They love how the devil give them all of this and give them all of that. He ain't doing nothing but tricking you. And it ain't gonna last either. Okay? Only what you do for God is gonna last. And it's a shame that they can have to go and get tricked by the devil in order to find this out for themselves. But one way or another, they find it out every time. Every time. One heathen after another. They learn that lesson. Yes. But anyway, yeah. I thought I'd just stop by and tell y'all what you need to know. And you can count on me to tell you what you need to know and tell you the truth. And the church is not obligated to take care of you and that baby that you decided to have. Okay, you're swallowing all these other babies, but you want to keep some for your self-benefits and your food stamps and your Section 8. So that's a decision. That was a choice. Sin is a choice. Just like they say slavery was a choice, which I disagree with. Sin is a choice. So you decided to sin, so you got to deal with the consequences. Period. Okay? Period. Period, period, period. Stop begging from the church and go to the church to worship the Lord. The church is not a begging center. It's a worship center. Okay, some heathen needs to hear that. Some heathen needs to hear that. Let me say it again. The church is not a begging center. It's a worship center. Okay? The house of the Lord. That's what the church is. It's not a house of begging and bashing. That's not what the church is. It's not. And then I seen, and I can't unsee it. And I'm hoping that it's AI generated. I seen a video clip or a screenshot recently showing a heathen, a hood rat, and you know she was a nigga. You know it was a nigga standing in the church, supposedly getting ready to smoke some dope. I said to myself, whoever posted that picture, I know you lying. I'm hoping they lying and it's AI generated. I'm hoping the heathens ain't got that stupid where they want to sit up in the house of the Lord and smoke some dope. Whew, some things you just don't do. And they trying every day to get further and further away from the Lord and the house of the Lord. How you going to be in the house of the Lord and disrespect the Lord? Whew, some things I would be just too scared to do. But these heathens, they getting more and more bold every day, and they trying their best to try to destroy the church. But God, I don't believe God is going to allow you to do it. He'll destroy y'all before he let y'all destroy the church. And you better be careful with all of this low down stuff that you're going into the church to do. Okay, you better be careful. And it just makes me sick to my stomach how they try to disrespect the Lord and the house of the Lord. And the heathens of today are worse than the heathens from yesterday. Woo! Even the heathens of yesterday, they even was under the mind that there's some things you just don't do. But these modern heathens, they want to do everything but the right thing. Have y'all noticed that? They want to do everything but the right thing. Everything. They want to try everything. They don't have no standards. And, just anything goes. They want to do everything but the right thing. And they get on my nerves and they make me sick. But anyway, I meant to do this at the beginning of our video, but even though I didn't do it at the beginning of the video, I'll do it now as I'm closing out our video. Today's video is brought to us by our unofficial sponsor. I think a lot of you all may be aware of this. Those of you that really take baths and keep your hygiene up, you're probably already familiar with this. If you take showers on a regular basis, you've already seen these in the stores. Today's video is brought to us by our unofficial sponsor, EOS. EOS, Evolution of Smooth. They understood the assignment, baby. This is the best smelling product on the market in the history of body wash. This right here is standing on business. I promise you. I don't know why they don't have this. Maybe they do. I just don't know about it. But as far as I know, this is made specifically for women. I don't know if it's made for men or not, or if they have a version dedicated for men. But the men, they have really come a long way with the body wash department for men. They got some of these products for men that smell real good too. I wish a lot of these guys would take advantage of it because I'm so sick of smelling stinking ass guys. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all don't? I understand taking a bath every day is challenging. I get tired of it too. But we gotta do it, okay? We gotta do it. We gotta do what, Karma Kaboom? Wash our ass. Touch your neighbor and say, wash your ass. Okay, I know it's easier said than done, and some of us have more ass to wash than others. Maybe that's why you don't wash your ass, because you got too much ass. It is a such thing as too much ass. Can we agree on that? Yes, it is a such thing as too much ass to wash. Okay, so I understand. I understand. You get tired, especially if you got a wide ass and a big ass, that Humpty Dumpty ass. All ass is not created equal. And it takes more work to wash some ass than others. But I encourage y'all to wash it. Maybe you can wash it in parts. Maybe you can wash it in increments. Maybe you can wash one ass today and wash the other ass tomorrow. But wash the ass. Can we agree to do that? Just make an effort. Make an effort. Even if you have to just strap yourself on the top of somebody's hood of their truck or their car and get it strapped down and run through the car wash, wash it. Wash it. If you have to jump in a lake, a pond, a reservoir, a pool, somebody's backyard and a pool, wash your ass. Listen, cats and dogs, if they can do it, and they do it all the time, you see them, they always washing their ass. Don't let the cats and dogs outdo you as it relates to washing your ass. I get so sick and tired of smelling stinking ass, especially in these public restrooms. Ooh, don't get me started talking about how stinking the ass is at the restroom and at my job. It's so many stinking asses that occupy these restrooms. I know these toilet bowls be like, please stop. Please help. Please stay off of me. You know what I mean? If the toilets could talk, that's probably what they say. Get the fuck away from me. With these stinking asses that occupy the toilet bowls. Woo! My God. And then some of these asses, they be stinking early in the morning, late at night. What the fuck are y'all doing with y'all's asses? Shit. But anyway, I really appreciate these products here. They really have come a long way in the body wash department. And they help us to keep our asses clean and smelling really, really good. And this is the best smelling body wash I have come across in a long, long time. You know, there's a whole lot of body wash out there. And all the body wash is not created equal. But this right here, oh, baby, it makes me want to eat my own ass. Okay, if I was an ass eater, I'd want to eat my own ass. This right here, baby, I think if you want your ass ate, get some of this and wash it first. And you probably are going to run a high risk of getting your ass ate. Ate up, completely up. Okay. This right here, it smells like a birthday cake. That's what it smells like. Whew. Child, Calgon ain't got nothing on this right here. Oh, are y'all familiar with it? This is a vanilla cashmere. Baby, whoever made this, they understood the assignment. They understood the assignment. Oh, I want to take a bath right now. I want to take a bath right now. Oh, baby. I'm telling you the truth. You know I wouldn't lie to you. And then yesterday, I went to Target. And something in my mind was saying, don't buy that because that stuff too high. You need to save that money for some chicken wings. You know, Zaxby's, they lemon pepper. Whoo, they got me in the chokehold. Every day I want it in my mouth. The lemon pepper wings at Zaxby's, they just don't have them big enough. And then they so high. But anyway, I know I should have saved this money and got me some more chicken wings. That's my chicken wing money. But I went ahead and sacrificed. And hopefully I won't regret it. Child, I found out that not only do EOS have the body wash, they have the body oil too. In other words, they the bodyguard. They just got your body covered. Okay, they here for the body. They here for your body. Our body. Yes, they got the body oil. And I can't wait to use this. The cashmere, vanilla cashmere body oil. And you already know it smells good. You already know. You don't have to have me to tell you. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, this smells so good. Baby. Where's my husband, my future husband? I'm ready for him to smell this body. Woo! I need to check with God and see what the tracking number is. I already put my order in for my future husband. Whew, baby, I want him to know, my future husband, your wife already gonna be smelling good. Ooh, baby. And then yesterday, I also saw this. The same EOS cashmere, vanilla cashmere shave oil. For those of you that like to keep your coochie cut. Yes, I can't wait to use it. Because my lawn needs cutting too. I usually keep it cut. But it's done get out of hand because I've been so busy lately. So it's time for me to cut my grass down now. And under my arms. And I think I'll be using this. I'll be test driving this. And you know I'm going to be smelling good. Ooh, from head to toe, from toe to head, and all the way in between. Yes. So, yeah. 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 This going to get you right. This going to get you right. Okay? Yeah. If you want to smell good. Yeah, this gonna get you right, like I said. So, anyway, oh, and I saw something else that I decided to test drive also. What's that, Karma Kaboom? Child, will you wait a minute so I can tell you? One thing at a time. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. Patience. Let's practice patience, will you? Will you? Will you? So this is what I found also at the Walmart. I think I got this at the Walmart. Child, this right here. Because I get so sick and tired of my neighbors smoking they dope. And then I got to share their habit with them. It's a shame that I can't have a good smelling place in peace. The invasion of these dope heads. Oh, they get on my fucking nerves. Oh, they get on my nerves. I can't get away from the marijuana. I can't get away from the marijuana. At my job, the drug addicts are there. They letting them smoke dope. And they letting them smoke dope in peace. I never thought I'd see the day where these employers will let these heathens smoke dope on the job. I'm not telling no lie. You know I don't tell lies. At least I try not to. But yeah, they letting them smoke dope on the job, and I'm getting secondhand smoke, and it's giving reprobate. You know we living in a reprobate society where right is wrong and wrong is right, and the heathens are trying to take over and just set the standard and do the wrong thing all the time. But God is going to deal with them accordingly. And I'm praying every day that he will get them out of the way. Since they don't want to obey and they don't want to do the right thing, just get them out the way, God. Get them out the way. But yeah, my neighbor is a drug head. So they have, I get this neighbor They have all of this smelling like dope every morning. And then I got some back there that have it smell, my bedroom smelling like dope every other night. It's a shame I gotta share their habit. So I use this to reset the tone, to reset the atmosphere, and try to block out the Satan dust. Oh, that stuff stinks so bad. Why would you want to smell like that all the time? Oh, it stinks so bad. Oh my God. Ugh. But this is by Febreze, and they got the deodorizer in the can, and they also have this in the squirt bottle, and you can clean, not clean, but freshen up. It's safe for garments. If you want to spray it on your clothes, especially if you don't want to go to work smelling like dope, those of you that are dope heads, and a lot of y'all are, I wish you would. Father God, I'm going to pray that spirit off of you. Father God, in the name of Jesus, please deliver the dope heads that are watching me at the sound of my voice. Please deliver the dope heads. Set them free, God, of drugs. Amen. But anyway, if you don't want to go to work smelling like drugs, it's safe to spray all over your clothes and try to fool your supervisor and manager. And you can spray it on your bed. Okay, if your bed is stinking. Or you want to freshen it up, you can spray it on there. It has a very pleasant smell. This is the vanilla suede. Oh, and it smells so good. It says it's got smoked vanilla. Don't that sound yummy? Smoked vanilla, brushed mahogany, and golden amber. Yes. Oh, this smells very good. And it's also safe to use on carpets and furniture. So yeah, all in your car. If you got a stinking car, just spray it all in your car so you won't have a stinking car, okay? If you got a stinking wig, a stinking hair bonnet, just spray the hell out of it, okay? Especially if you don't want to wash that nasty hair bonnet, just spray the hell out of it, okay? But anyway, yeah. So now that we have talked about that heifer that's been calling the churches begging for some baby formula, let this be a lesson, and I hope we can all agree that the church is not a begging center. It is not a place that is supposed to take care of you. They are not obligated. So stop begging. Stop begging from the church and go to church to worship the Lord. Okay? Okay? Especially if you don't belong to the church. A lot of these churches are barely making it. And they going through hard times just like a lot of people. And they need some help too. Okay, they would like to help, but they're not obligated to help you. Okay, they're not obligated. So stop thinking that they supposed to help you. And try to respect the church. And help the church sometimes. Yeah, the church needs some help. Why don't you help the church sometimes instead of going up there to beg from the church? Okay. Thank you. Who is this? Hello, Diane. Diane. Diane, you say, hi, Carmen. Looking good. Loving the hair color. Thank you, Diane. Diane, what you think about the woman that's begging from the church to get us some baby formula for the baby? Did you see the video, Diane? Did you see the video of the woman calling the churches begging for baby formula? Did you see the video? And what did you think about it? Huh? What did you think about it? I was so mad when I seen that woman calling and meddling with them churches. And that's what she was doing. Let's be honest. That's what it was giving. It was giving meddling. She was meddling. She got a meddling spirit on her. Why she didn't call the drug dealers? They supposed to have all sorts of money. Why she didn't call the drug dealers? Why she didn't call Cardi B? Huh? She's supposed to be so rich. Why she didn't call a lot of them other YouTubers and content creators? They supposed to be so rich and always bragging about how much they making on social media. Huh? Why she didn't call her baby daddy, the child's father? Huh? And try to shame him and embarrass him and conduct a social experiment on him. Huh? Yeah. But anyway, it is what it is. And thank y'all so much for tuning in to this live. I appreciate y'all so much. I think I'm finna go take a bath and eat me something good. And it won't be no pussy. Okay. I'll let your girl. Peace.